In 2020, as the world faced a crisis, Trio Media Kenya saw an opportunity to tell stories that could inspire change. Silvia Tonui, co-founder of Trio Media Kenya, tells the story.
We started Trio Media, myself and two partners, in 2020. I remember late 2019, we got a big contract with the British Council to do a fashion business incubation project called Creative. As we were implementing that project, we realized that it's really important to do storytelling, and especially to show impact. And we started sourcing audiovisual production services from companies. And my goodness, it was, number one, extremely costly. Number two, we couldn't control the time. So we would be on really tight deadlines and we were struggling to get the content in. So we decided, why don't we set up our own production company? And just, looking at the costs, it was just more cost effective and we could control the variables if we brought the production in-house. And then also there was a rise in podcasting, and especially I think the pandemic brought on a lot of podcasts, and I think partly because, of course, people were more at home. So people realized they would like to share their thoughts. Some were really good thoughts, some not so good thoughts, as you know, with podcasts. And we saw a business opportunity. And, just doing a bit of research, and we were speaking to podcasters, and, audio was a major challenge. And we decided, why don't we bring in some really good equipment and then open up our studio to podcasters. And it quickly grew, because initially I think we had maybe 4 podcasts that were regularly recording with us, one being the Gerald B. Talk Show, which was a political show. It was also leading up to the elections, general elections, so that was a very popular show that we were producing in-house. And then we quickly grew and got podcasts, other podcasts like the Sandwich Podcast, Podcast with No Name, GK Nyambura also started with us. And I feel like it was organic growth more than anything. We were doing very little marketing, but then suddenly we had all our slots filled up weekly. So we realized there was demand for podcasts to record in high quality setup, because a lot of them were doing it on their phones, they're doing it in their rooms, they're doing it inside a car, just to cut out the noise. So I think providing that platform was really brilliant. And, we've had some really amazing success stories, like the Sandwich Podcast, then going on to be funded by Spotify.
As with any nature of business, the road wasn't easy. Trio Media faced challenges that pushed them to innovate.
We have another arm of the business called Trio Consulting, and we do project management services, research, storytelling, impact storytelling for clients. Initially, we didn't know how big this would get. So we started with a very tiny studio on Gong Road. And then slowly we realized, we need to move to a bigger studio space. And, just with business, I feel like business has its cycles. And it's sort of like a chicken and egg situation, because you're like, should we move to a bigger studio? And then more clients will come to meet the cost, because of course then the costs almost double when you move to a bigger studio. You then have to hire a bigger production team, and your costs just keep getting higher. So I think of course, just like any business, cash flow was a bit of a challenge, and just to mitigate that issue, we then moved into impact storytelling. And initially we were only doing it for British Council Creative DNA project, but then we now started doing for other clients, and it's been really amazing, because we also started doing storytelling for another British Council Africa project. This time Creative DNA for the British Council, we were only doing it in Kenya, their impact storytelling, but then now we moved to working with across 11 African countries for another project called Culture Connects, which was connecting African artists to UK artists. And then we also started working for another research project from a Belgian company, and also very similarly started telling impact stories from the project. And it's been really amazing. And we also opened up to corporates as well.
Trio Media's collaboration with the British Council on Creative DNA has been a game changer, supporting 71 early stage fashion designers from Kenya and Ethiopia. Through the Culture Connects project, Trio Media has helped tell the stories of 66 grantee projects across sub-Saharan Africa and the UK.
We do a program called Creative DNA, which is a business incubator for fashion businesses, and we initially started in Kenya, and now we have done 4 cohorts of business training, and have now had 71 fashion designers graduate from the business incubation. And initially we started just as a project management delivery partner, but then very quickly we realized that storytelling was a big part of this, so we started developing podcasts, and now we have close to 12 episodes highlighting the work of these fashion designers that we've been working with. So I think that's a really major achievement, because beyond profit making, I feel like creating an impact on SMEs and small businesses has been our major mission as Trio Media and Trio Consulting. And so Creative DNA, we've taken about 71 fashion businesses through this business incubator. We've worked with partners like Anne McCreth from Kiko Romeo and Fashion Scout from the UK to deliver this project. And then another very exciting project that we worked with under British Council Africa was Culture Connects. And Culture Connects was basically, as the name says, connecting artists, different art forms, from painters to musicians to film producers to poets to writers to digital artists in the sub-Saharan Africa to the UK. And these collaborations came up with really, really interesting projects that we then had the pleasure and opportunity to document the stories coming from these artists. For this Culture Connects project, we worked with Jerry Kolisa, which is also a storytelling partner from South Africa, and we worked with them to deliver and tell these 11 stories. So if you're online, if you Google Culture Connects, you'll see the series that we did, from write-ups to PR stories in medias, through media partners. We also did some podcasts, and we also did some Instagram posts and social media posts for the British Council. Another very interesting project and very exciting, which is very glitzy and glamorous, is the Tribal Chic Fashion Show. So the Tribal Chic Fashion Show is by the Tribe Hotel, and we have now managed that fashion showcase for 2 years now, and it's really been amazing, just showcasing the immense talent that fashion talent that comes from Kenya. This year, Tribal Chic 2024, we added a bit of spice and flavor, because we have generally done the traditional format that a lot of fashion events take in Kenya, of having an MC introduce the fashion designers. But then this time we had the absolute pleasure of bringing fashion designers into our studio to do recordings about their brands, which we then played back during the show. And I think it really added that personal touch, because the fashion designers were able to speak about their fashion houses using their own voices, which is very important, because I feel like sometimes when other people tell your stories, I feel like it's not as impactful as you telling your own brand story. So I think that was really exciting, and we have done 2 fashion shows so far, and we're looking forward to doing more for the Tribal Chic. We are big on working with partners. We feel like we're in-house, we have the capability, but I feel like bringing additional delivery partners to work with always enriches the projects.
Today, Trio Media continues to bridge the gap between impactful projects and compelling storytelling. Whether you're an SME, NGO, or a government institution, Trio Media invites you to be part of their journey.